4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hello, internet world. It's Norma Joe back again on another day. Same place, but different outfit. Okay, so, alright, next episode, or next series, I should say, of the Rome show was Julius Caesar. You have to have Julius Caesar. He's like the fucking Elvis, like the #1, like, king of all Roman history bullshit, because everybody knows him. Okay, and the most hilarious thing is that it's one thing to cast some, like, hot pretty boys as Caligula and Commodus, because it's kind of like, I'm sure they didn't look like that, but at least maybe people do have an idea of what they looked like, but it's not well known, it's not commonly known, I don't think. Like, it's just kind of like, well, who knows what they looked like? Sure, get some hot boys to play them. Who gives a fuck? But Julius Caesar, I feel like, yeah, it's true we might all be being deceived by these paintings and statues. Maybe he didn't look like how everybody thinks. You know, the classic, like, look of him. But, I mean, there's, like, a precedent for how Caesar is supposed to look. And it's really funny because the show I was watching before, they kept up with that. They had, like, just this standard, you know, sleek 40-something-year-old guy with, like, gray hair, and he just looked the way you think Caesar will look, right? No, not this show. This show is very different. So, so first off, they start off in some battlefield. I'm pretty sure that's how it starts. And Caesar, they said he's 19 at this time. He's this cute, adorable little boy in a battlefield. He's giving me, like, World War I movie, like, British soldier vibes for some reason. Even though it's obviously thousands of years before World War I. But, yeah, and then they pretty much cut from that. They're just like, oh, right now he's just a normal soldier in the normal army, you know, just being a little shit kicker, you know, and he's a nobody. They go on to say he came from a rich family, but something happened, I can't remember. Oh, I remember, because there was some kind of civil war, some kind of disagreement, splitting of the country. Does this sound familiar? And apparently his dad backed the more unpopular side. I forgot if they said his dad got killed or not, but basically it ruined their fucking family, and they lost all their fucking money. And then his family became poor. But then later, he got all his money and then some back. Because, you know, he did all the shit he did. Anyways, okay, so you don't get to have much time with ginger little baby Caesar. Because it skips forward, like, we don't know how many years. And then he becomes his, like, form where he looks, I don't know, mid-late 30s, I don't know, something like that, who knows, but this is his form from apparently, like, mid-20s to his death, which I don't know how old he was when he died, but like I said, they don't age these characters, they just say X amount of years passed and everyone looks the exact fucking same, so whatever. So, yes, this is his, like, form that he's in for the majority of the show. So, anyways, I think you know, like the other one, I'm gonna forget huge holes. I totally even forgot to talk about Commodus' sister getting exiled for trying to kill him, and getting garroted on this island by this, like, guy in slow motion, and whatever. I forgot to mention all that. But, yeah, so it's gonna be the same deal here. Anyways, so Caesar, I think he's still in the army, you know, he's all about the army, basically. He's like, I want power, and the only way to get power, if you don't have money already, is to be in the army. And just kill a lot of people, be badass, and make people recognize, you know, and stuff. So, he is, like, in the army, he's, like, going up ranks, I think, something like that. And then, there's this other guy there named Crassus, I think. And he wants, he's also in the military, I think? I can't remember at which point he goes in the military, but they said he's literally the richest man in Rome. But nobody takes him seriously, supposedly, because he doesn't have any military experience. So he's like, I gotta at least fight, like, one battle, so people can take me seriously. And then there's Pompey, who's, like, another general, I guess. He's like the experienced military one, I think is what they said. I might be getting this backwards, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went. So, basically, Caesar's in the army, and his big thing, like I said, with Commodus, his big thing is, like, he wants everyone to love him, he never wants to be disliked. With Caesar, his big thing that he repeats over and over is he never wants anyone to see him as weak. Which I can understand that. You know, I have the Napoleon complex, you know, but, whatever. So that's his deal. So, he's, like, talking to the general, I forgot even who they're fighting. They're fighting somebody, and it's probably their fucking fault. They probably fucking started it, because they're asshole Romans. And they, you know, they're just trying to go around, take everybody's land, and then act like they're, like, in the right. So, they're doing some shit. They're fighting somebody, I forgot who. And then the general's like, oh, we should, like, retreat, and we should, like, try again, or something. Something like that. And Caesar's, like, right there. He's like, no, they'll think we're weak. We can't be seen as weak. We have to just, like, go full on, go full for it, you know, and everything like that. He's like, we can't hesitate. We can't, like, you know, everything's gotta be full power, you know, and stuff. And the general's like, I like what I'm hearing, you know, very, like, I see a lot of ambition in you. And what is that thing they always want you to be in the workplace? I can't remember the word, but basically it's like a synonymous with being outgoing and just, you know, all that stuff. Because they always want you to be a firecracker full of energy and shit like that. So, anyways, I think they do what Caesar said, and they get, like, a victory, something like that. And then they come back, and then, I totally forgot. Like, basically, oh yeah, and then Caesar has, like, his, like, they make a point to be, like, Caesar's, wife and daughter, which I was trying to do the math on this. I'm like, okay, I know it was ancient times. They're like, he's been married to her for 15 years, is what they said, and the daughter is, like, 15. So, but then I'm like, how old is Caesar supposed to be? Like, I mean, they could have been married when they were, like, teenagers, you know? So, I'm going for that because I know that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how old anybody is. But anyways, whatever. So, he has his wife and daughter at home. They pretty much just show them and be like, look at how much he loves them. It's gonna really suck when they die later. Oops, did I say that? Oops, don't mind what I said, you know, and stuff like that. And then, so they come back home, he reunites with his family, and then there's, like, I can't remember how it gets to this point, but basically Pompey and Crassus, they start going against each other. And they're like, they both want to be, like, leader, obviously. They both want power. They're just power-hungry motherfuckers. And, I can't remember. Somehow they start, like, a feud between the two of them. And they're like, everybody has to be on his side or my side, you know, stuff like that. And then Caesar is like, oh shit, this is, like, exactly what happened to my dad. And that's what they said. They're like, oh, Caesar didn't want to repeat his dad's mistakes. He's like, he could choose one of them, but what if he chooses wrong and then he gets ruined, you know, and all this shit, because he saw that happen before. So, apparently, according to this show at least, which, like I said, I have to take everything with a grain of salt, because the way they just, the way that they present themselves in such a ridiculous manner, it makes me think, like, okay, what else are they, like, changing or obliterating or, like, just conveniently leaving out. You know, I don't know what kind of angle they're pulling here. I'd have to read some books, watch some other shows to, like, cross, you know, get a second opinion, a third opinion and stuff. Anyways, so, basically, Caesar calls in, he's obviously already high enough rank at this point to be able to talk to these guys. He's not just, like, a lowly commoner anymore. But I guess he doesn't have, like, the political power he wants or something. He's just, like, a really good soldier or whatever. He's probably, like, you know, in the upper ranks of the army or some shit like that. But he always wants more, you know. And then, so he calls them both into this chamber. It's kind of like in those fucking, like, you know, Parent Trap or something like that, or, like, the fucking, Bob Newhart show, where it's like, oh, my parents are divorced, like, let's just call them here separately, and then they'll both show up, and they'll both see each other, and they'll fall back in love, and get back together, you know, all that shit. So he calls them both to the chamber, they're both like, what is he doing here? And Caesar's like, wait, let's make a triad. Let's make a, not a threesome, but what is it called? A throuple? Yeah, he's like, let's be a throuple, and it's called the triumvirate, you know? And, which always, that word always confuses me because it sounds like triumphant, but it's like, it's tri, like 3, you know? But, anyways, so he's like, let's make an alliance, let's be a throuple, and we can all the 3 of us can rule Rome, and we can, like, you know, our powers combined, we can, like, do fucking anything, get away with anything we want. And then Crassus and Pompey are like, okay, actually that sounds good. So they agree, right? And then, basically, Caesar said he wants to be made consul, which as far as I can tell is, like, the, like, leader or, like, the main guy, like, of the Senate or something like that. That's basically what I got. If it's slightly different than that, I don't know, but that's what it seemed like. So he's, I guess Pompey, both Pompey and Crassus, I think, are in the Senate. Oh, and that's another thing they said. They were having problems because, basically, the Senate was like our country now in America, like, just sitting on their ass, not helping anybody, not doing anything. And then when they do the slightest, tiniest little menial task, they're just like, aren't we great? Aren't we great at taking care of the people? Meanwhile, they're really not doing shit, you know? They're literally just sitting there collecting funds and not doing anything and leaving the country on its own to take care of itself. So, because these motherfuckers keep, like, you know, what is that, stalling, doing the filibuster or whatever. They're just like, we will not vote unless it's unanimous, and then it never is. So, you know, they just fucking keep on sitting there. So, Caesar's like, okay, if you guys make me consul, then I will make the Senate, like, put through all the stuff you want. You know, all the laws, all the shit that you guys want. I'll make it happen. Even though he really can't promise that because he still needs a vote, I guess, of the Senate. I'm not too sure how ancient Roman, like, Senate, like, worked exactly. But, you know, he said he's just gonna persuade everybody to do it. And they're like, okay, you kick ass on the battlefield, like, we believe you can do it or whatever. So, they make him consul. He's like, yes, more power than I ever had before. And then he's up there saying, like, this is why we should do this and that and the other thing. But apparently, according to the scholars they interviewed, like, you know, in between the scenes, like, everybody else was onto it or something like that. They're just like, okay, we see you guys as throuple. Like, it's very obvious. Like, we see what's going on. And so, they didn't want to put through anything. But then Caesar's like, and then Pompey and Crassus went to Caesar and they were like, you say you're gonna put through our shit, huh? What about that, huh? We made you consul, you haven't done anything for us. He's like, I'll do it, okay? I'll do it. And then he, like, apparently he hires these, like, street thugs, which is really funny, because it's like, every time they bust into somebody's house, they do, like, the same movement over and over, like, and this one guy, he's all, like, he has this crazy face, and he's like, walks up like this, and, like, and they grab these senators and start, like, beating them up. And apparently the senators don't have bodyguards. They don't have any type of, like, I don't know, protection or anything like that. I also don't know how that works, but I know today it wouldn't really work like that. I mean, I don't know. If one senator wanted to go after another senator, I don't know. Then they probably just put something in the internet about them being a pedophile or something like that. I have no idea how, like, politicians fight amongst each other these days. They just discredit each other. Maybe put horse heads in each other's beds. I don't know. But I don't know if they'd actually be able to, like, just hire some, like, you know, gangsters off the street and be like, go beat this guy up in his own house. Yeah, the door's not locked. There's no alarm system. There's no anything. There's no guards. You would think if you were rich and if I was rich and powerful, I'd have guards. I'd have fucking everything. I'd be hiring people left and right. If I was rich and powerful, like, one of the most powerful people in the country, I'm not talking about just, like, movie star, like, type of, like, power and money. I'm talking about, like, real government power. If I was that powerful, I'd have all types of fucking people, and I would treat them so good. They would be basically like my well-treated harem. Like, I would treat them hella good. I'd have, like, staff parties. I'd be like, you guys are all, like, my family, you know? I'd make them feel good about themselves. And we would have, like, crazy, like, fucking, you know, Charles Manson parties. I would, like, give everybody acid, be like, who wants acid? They'd be like, yeah! And I would pretend to take it, but I really wouldn't. And then I'd be, like, the only sober one. I'd just watch everybody else get fucked up. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, man, I didn't know you liked so-and-so so much. You know, I saw you massaging them the other night. You know, all this shit. whatever. I would have a good thing going with my thing, and I would hire people. I would have, like, kennels full of dogs that I would rescue, and I would have, like, crops, and I'd have all types of people doing all types of shit. But I would have guards, and I would give them whatever kind of automatic weapon is the best. Anyways, where am I? Right, so he goes in there and beats him up, and they punch him in the mouth, and all this, like, sticky-looking blood, like, flies out, and everything like that. Then the next day, Caesar's like, so who wants to comply with my shit? And everybody's like, I do, you know. So then Pompey and Crassus are all happy. But then, okay, I kind of forgot what happens after that, but basically, I fucking forget now. See, this is the thing. For some reason, just like the Commodus one, I forget, like, what happened in, like, episode 2 and 3. I only remember, like, the beginning and the end. But I guess that speaks to how important it is. At some point, his wife dies. I forget. And then, I forgot. Somehow, I know I'm skipping, like, way ahead. But basically, he, oh, there's this whole thing with Cleopatra. That's another funny thing. Because they introduced Mark Antony. And you know what's so funny is that since everyone is so modern and, like, sexy and everything in this show, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see Mark Antony. Mark Antony's gotta be hot as fuck, because, you know, he's known to be, like, this, like, Latin lover and everything like that because of Cleopatra, you know, and stuff. And it's like, you know, I expected, like, this, like, handsome man and everything. They bring in this dude, and he's, like, he has, like, a 7 head, and his face is kind of, like, pushed down. It looks like someone's, like, a god just, like, took his face and, like, kind of pushed it down to here, where his eyebrows are, like, right here, and his forehead is, like, all of this. I was just like, okay, that's fine. It's not really what I was expecting, but poor Mark Antony. Anyways, he comes into the scene at a certain point, even though they shaft him so bad. They really don't give him anything to do. And I think it's because, like, from the other more academic documentary style show I was watching, they said that Mark Antony's whole story with Cleopatra and everything happened, like, after Caesar died, and because this is a show of the season is Caesar's story, it basically stops when he dies. So everything that happens after he dies, they literally gloss over in, like, 3 sentences, and everybody in that story is shafted. Like, they do not go into it at all. But so I don't know, the stuff I heard from the other show is just, I'm basing it on that. But, yeah, they bring in I almost called him Marcus. His name is Marcus, but it's Brutus. And, Brutus is like a little baby, you know. I mean, he's not a baby, he's like 8, maybe, I don't know. He's like a kid. And basically, yeah, Caesar's wife dies. I forgot how. Oh, she got the plague, I think. I think that's how she died. And then Caesar was, like, in some fancy party, and they were, like, Sean Bean's, like, he can have any woman he desires, or whatever. And then, he found this lady called Servilla, I think is her name, which is an ironic name, you know, because it's, like, servant, or whatever, the serving woman, but it's, like, I mean, according to this little soap opera, she, like, mostly served herself, you know, but, you know, in hiding it by pretending to serve Caesar. But anyways, so she's a mom of Brutus, and then her and Caesar become boyfriend and girlfriend, and, I kind of forgot a lot of shit, but she's basically just telling Brutus, like, yeah, like, anytime you see the ability to have power, like, you just snatch it up, you know, she's, like, pressuring her son to be, like, ruthless, and then apparently, by the time he's 15, he's, like, in the Senate, you know, all this shit. So, then what else happened? There was something else I was gonna say, but I kind of forgot. Oh, right, so Caesar goes to Egypt for some fucking reason, I can't remember. Oh, I remember, because him, Pompey, and Crassus, for some reason, I can't remember why, they fall out. Like, I guess he wasn't, like, pleasing them enough anymore, or something like that. Like, he pushed through some of their legislation, but then, like, I don't know, he ran out of ways to make them happy, or some shit like that. I can't fucking remember what the show is saying. And then, basically, they were like, the throuple is over. Each man for themselves and stuff. So Caesar's like, fuck. That was kind of everything I was riding on, you know, and stuff like that. But, then Pompey decides that he wants to go out there and he wants to, like, conquer some shit. I think that's what it was. I don't remember. Oh, my 20 minutes is almost up.